With Taiwan's Father's Day around the corner, we give you a story tonight about a father and his son.
Most dentists in Taipei only receive patients in their own offices, but Huang Mingyu regularly packs his dental equipment into his car and drives to the homes of patients who are bedridden or who have physical or developmental disabilities.
His motivation for making old-fashioned house calls? His own son, who has Down syndrome. Now 23 years old, his son has become his assistant, and the father and son team makes house calls all over the greater Taipei area. Our Sunday in-depth report.
This morning, dentist Huang Mingyu, along with a nurse and an assistant, are loading 30 kilos of dental equipment into the car. They're preparing to make a free home visit to a patient in New Taipei City.
Today we're going to Linkou, which is relatively far. It takes a while to get there, but sometimes I can put several visits together and see 2 patients in one trip.
Sitting in the passenger seat is the dental assistant, Huang Yuxuan. He's the dentist's son, and he was born with Down syndrome.
He knows more or less when we have a patient, what time we're meeting the patient.
The team is adept at their craft. Their nimble hands find a way to treat the patient even in the tightest of spots. Huang Yuxuan stands beside the dental chair. Whenever his father treats a patient, he's there to help out, from beginning to end. After an hour, the teeth scaling and polishing is finally finished. For Huang Mingyu, this kind of home visit is not economical, both in terms of time and money. A dentist can treat 6 regular patients in one morning in his office, but to drive out to visit one patient at home usually takes up a whole morning. He covers the cost of fuel, parking, and mobile dental equipment. And the working conditions are also nowhere near the standards of a proper dentist's office.
It's completely unprofitable. I only do it because I want to. It's a service. It's not to make any money. It's impossible for everyone to give such a service.
The main factor that spurred Huang Mingyu to dedicate himself to this extremely unusual practice is his son, Huang Yuxuan. Huang Mingyu realized that his children with Down syndrome have delayed cognitive development. They're very sensitive and tend to object to dental treatment. So he tried to work out a better way to treat children with special needs, even going so far as to obtain a second doctorate from Tokyo Medical and Dental University.
The biggest flaw in Taiwan's dental system is anesthesia, so I went to Japan to study anesthesia in the hope that after coming back we could use sedatives or general anesthetics to fix the teeth of children with serious dental problems who are not very cooperative.
Because of his son, Huang Mingyu was inspired to do something for children with disabilities. And as for Huang Yuxuan, after growing up at his father's side, he's now become an invaluable assistant. Even if he might occasionally forget procedures he's practiced many times before. He smiles as he's corrected by his father and stands respectfully to the side, hands clasped. Next, a patient with Down syndrome comes to the surgery. With a special friendliness, Yuxuan leads the patient in from the reception to the operating room. His movements may be slow, but he's extremely patient. He even holds the patient's hand to help reduce the person's anxiety.
My standards can't be too high. If they're too high, then there's a lot of pressure on me. I don't have standards. I just follow my son's interests. Children with Down syndrome are very strong-willed. You'll never really get them to do something they're not interested in.
For Huang Mingyu, having his son keep him company at work is a great blessing.
Now that he's at work with me, I enjoy myself more. It's always good to have your son at your side. He might not be able to become a dentist, but it's great that at least he can be my assistant.
Dad often goes to meetings in the evenings and comes home very late. I tell him not to work too hard and to come home a bit sooner, rest and go to bed early.
Huang Mingyu is very thankful that his son inspired him to take up his path of service toward disabled patients.
他启发了我越玩就兴趣就越来越广泛。
He inspired me, and the more I looked into it, the wider my interest became. I became more and more fascinated by it the more I did it. It's a way to express my interest, and it also helps others, which is great.
The compassionate dental service not only helps many people in need, it has also deepened the relationship between father and son.